Hello and thanks for watching Best Maths Tutors. I'm continuing to look at the Edxcel GCSE Maths Higher Tier Paper 1 from May 2020. This is question 14 and it's a question about probability trees. So it says here that Sally's playing 2 games against Martin, and in each game she could win, draw or lose. And we can represent that on a probability tree by having 3 lines, and each one of those lines will represent the outcome. So win for the first one, draw for the second line, and lose for the third line. And we're given the probabilities for winning and drawing, so we can write those on the line. So the probability of a win is 0.3 and the probability of a draw is 0.1. And because all these lines coming from a point have to add up to 1 when we take the probabilities, we can add the 0.3 and the 0.1 together. We'll get 0.4 for that, the 0.3 plus the 0.1. And if we take that away from 1, so if we do 1 minus 0.4, we'll actually get 0.6. And that is the probability for the missing one there, which is the probability of losing. So this is the first game at the moment. And then what we can do from each one of these outcomes for the first game, we can actually say, well, the second game again has got 3 outcomes, so we can represent that like this. So 3 more lines coming from each, whether we've won, lost or drawn, we've got 3 outcomes again in the second game. So again, we could win, draw or lose for each one of these. And the probabilities are going to be the same as for the first game, so we can write those on. So now we've completed the probability tree, we can try and answer the question, which is, what's the probability that she'll win exactly one of the 2 games against Martin? So to do that, she would have had to either win the first game, draw the second, or win the first game and lose the second, or draw the first game and win the second, or lose the first game and win the second game. So we can work out each one of these probabilities, or each one of these outcomes that we've written down here. So the probability of going win draw would be 0.3 times 0.1, and because we're on a non-calculator paper we need to be able to do this manually. So we can just say, well, 3 times 1 is 3, and then make sure we have as many digits after the decimal point in the answer as in the question. So we can say, well, we've got 2 digits after the decimal point, so we're going to make sure we've got the same in the answer. So I've got the 0 and the 3 after the decimal point there. So if we do the win-lose next, so to win the first one is 0.3, and to lose the second one is 0.6. So 3 times 6 is 18, and again making sure we have 2 digits after the decimal point, we have to put the decimal point in front of the 1 there. So that's 0.18. And if we look at draw win, that's 0.1 times 0.3. So again, using the same process, that will give me 0.03. And then finally we can go lose, well that's 0.6 for the first game, and win is 0.3. So that gives me 0.18. Now, because these are all different ways we can get exactly one game, what we can do on the probability tree is we can add these together. So we can say the probability of getting exactly 1 win was either doing, so we can work out the probability of either doing win draw, or win lose, or draw win, or lose win. And using probability rules, because these are what you call mutually exclusive events, which means that they can't happen at the same time. So if we've gone win draw, we can't have gone win lose. And if you don't get that, you don't have to worry about it too much. It's just a case of on a probability tree, when we've got or, then that turns into plus. So what we can do is we can say, well, that's the probability of doing the win draw, there. So all these ors will turn into pluses. So we can say it's 0.03 plus 0.18 plus the 0.03 plus again 0.18. So if we add them together, I'm just going to write them as a column, and I'm going to make sure that the decimal points are in line with each other as well. So if we add that up, I'll just move the board up a little. So we the main point in doing this is making sure that all the decimal points are actually in line with each other. If you do that, then you can't really go wrong. So we've got 3 plus 8, 11, plus another 3, 14, plus the 8 is 22. So write down the 2, carry a 2. Then we've got 0 plus 1 plus 0 plus 1 is 2, plus the 2 we've carried is 4. And decimal point, write that under the lines of the decimal point there. And then we've got all the zeros, just make 0. So that is the answer. So the probability that she will win exactly one game is equal to 0.42, and that's our final answer. So I hope that's been helpful to you, and if it has, please consider liking our channel and subscribing as well. Thanks for watching.